Hello, this is Dennis Gack once again of the National Brotherhood of Fathers' Rights. Today's video is about false allegations. As many of you are well aware, false allegations are often used by women in divorce situations, paternity situations, and in all sorts of court actions to gain the upper hand, period. I see this thousands and thousands of times. Almost every single case that I deal with, the father is either an alcoholic, a drug addict, a wife beater, a sexual molester, or has other quirks, watching pornography, or whatever allegation that the courts are going to accept from the mother as a basis to undermine you in your case. Now, I shouldn't say the court's going to accept it from the mother. The mother has learned somehow from family, friends, girlfriends, I don't know where, that if you make an allegation against the guy, it gets him out of the house, gets her more of what she wants, and puts you on defense. You can't be in that situation. You have to learn how to defend yourself. So, the most common method of false allegations are through domestic violence, orders of protections. It comes in their various names in all the states in the country. But just suffice to say that a restraining order can be obtained ex parte, which means one-sided. She can go in by herself, hand fill out some paperwork, go see a judge immediately, make up some nonsense about you, have the judge sign the order. The order is immediately processed through the police department, and she can have you thrown out of the house. Okay, and this is what often happens. Now you're on defense. You're out in the street, or you have to move, or the police will come and move you out. You have no place to stay, or maybe have to stay with friends. You're not usually able to see the kids because she's taken the kids, and usually if the restraining order protects you, protects her from you, so to speak, the kids are usually attached to her, and it usually affects your rights to see the kids as well. Most often she'll ask for the restraining order out of, I fear for my life, I fear for my kids' safety, this kind of things. Now, that's an ex parte order. That's effective immediately. Immediately after that, there's usually a hearing set up about a week, usually a couple of weeks later, at which time you are supposed to go in front of a judge that'll analyze the situation more thoroughly. You are able to respond and answer all of the allegations, and the judge decides whether to leave that restraining order in effect or not. So this is the way all false allegations begin. It usually begins with some kind of an allegation. It results in a restraining order. It gets some kind of action, a motion for temporary orders filed against you. The key here is that not to panic, not to be depressed by it, but pull your head out of the sand and start formulating a line-by-line response to the restraining order. Okay, you'll need that to do your own paperwork, or you'll need it to give it to your attorney so that he knows what's going on. It's important to submit a response in writing. Okay, filed just like the logistics video I told you before. It has to go in several locations, but you have to go through it line by line and ask for the restraining order to be dismissed. Okay, oftentimes what they'll try to do is, with a restraining order, there's sometimes a divorce or paternity action running tandem with it. Not always, but often is the case. So what they'll try to do is pull you into court on a restraining order. You're totally on defense, like Muhammad Ali sitting in the corner doing the rope-a-dope with his hands up against the ropes. You don't want to be there. You want to come out on offense and turn it around proactively. She'll try to slip through child support, limited visitation. Oftentimes, from a lot of these restraining orders, they'll want you to take an alcohol or drug evaluation, some kind of psychosexual evaluation, or other sorts of things. I'm not going to say not to do those things. The problem is they like to issue those things out like they like to issue restraining orders, like popcorn at a theater. The way the courts look at it is, when they issue a restraining order, it's like keeping two opposing sides, two children, from fighting on a playground. This one's in that corner, this one's in the other corner. It's much easier for the court to deal with, and that's why they like to enter them. And personally, my belief is that the court systems have a basic prejudice against fathers anyway, and they prefer that the mother is in charge, that she has the kids, and that you're being extracted money, and you got to pay child support, and that's just kind of the way that the system flows. The good news is we can turn the tide, we can level the playing field, but you've got to do initially a response, put it in writing, and go from there. Now, that's a basic response in the filing on how to deal with the immediate situation. The next level that you can take it to is to make sure that child support and visitation and things like that are not, if you can help it, decided at that first restraining order hearing. You would like to get those on a separate hearing. You don't want to confuse the issues. This is a restraining order against false allegations. You want to deal with that issue, get it dismissed or not, come back to court on a child support and visitation issue. Because what happens is if they're talking about a restraining order or they're talking about child support, your visitation typically gets swept under the rug. It's better to keep those on two separate agendas. Yeah, I think you understand my meaning here. Now, this is a touchy subject, and I'll cover this more in a subsequent video. But you can also sue the ex-wife for false allegations. You can sue your ex-girlfriend for false allegations. Many people will tell you that you can't do that. But the fact is if she makes false allegations and they're totally false, if you let them go and you just respond to the restraining order, even if it's dismissed, look, it's going to show up on your record someplace. And a lot of people will tell you, even your attorney will tell you, no, it's not on your record. If it's dismissed, you're fine. It's not true. And here's the example that I use. If you're applying for a job for the CIA someday, okay, and they do a background check, you mean to tell me that it's not going to come up somewhere that a restraining order was filed against you? It will. Trust me. So you got to do everything to get that expunged from your record. And there's another topic I'll cover later. Like I said, you can actually sue her in what's called a civil tort claim lawsuit for defamation of character, intentional infliction of emotional distress, interference with familial relations, interference with business relations. There's dozens of them that you could sue for, but we'll cover that on another topic. Again, a lot of that information is already covered in the Father's Rights Protection System. I'd suggest to click on the little green template on the body of this video, and it'll give you more information on our system and about how to defend yourself against false allegations. Thanks for viewing.